Good morning, America. After a stunning overtime thriller, the Virginia Cavaliers are national champs. Happening overnight.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
Just 1 year after one of the most humiliating losses in tournament history, Virginia outlasts Texas Tech, taking home their first national championship. The brutal back-and-forth marathon battle on the court that led to the ultimate redemption.
Also this morning, another White House shakeup. President Trump fires the head of the Secret Service less than 24 hours after forcing out the Homeland Security Secretary. And now news that even more heads may roll at a department so crucial to our nation's safety.
Rescues overnight from dangerous flooding out west. A possible bomb cyclone brewing about to pummel the central U.S. And the states facing blizzard warnings this morning.
Terror suspect takedown. The 28-year-old inspired by ISIS accused of plotting a mass terror attack with a stolen U-Haul. How officials caught him just in time.
Wendy Williams setting the record straight about recent headlines and this photo, what she's now saying about substance abuse and life inside that sober house.
Felicity Huffman breaking her silence, now pleading guilty in that college admissions cheating scandal. Her apology as the prosecutor tells the judge the Desperate Housewives star needs to go to jail.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
What a game, what a story for UVA, complete redemption.
What a difference a year makes. Last year, the first and only #1 seed to get knocked out in the first round of the tournament. This year, champs, and take a look at the celebrations in Charlottesville.
And they're still celebrating for sure. It was a thrilling game. It went into overtime where Virginia overpowered Texas Tech, pulling away at the end with a solid win. And TJ Holmes was there for it all, and he joins us now from Minneapolis. Good morning, TJ.
Hey, good morning to you guys from the Virginia Team Hotel. Not sure how much sleep they got here at the hotel last night, but who needs to sleep, guys, when your dreams come true before you actually even get into bed? Yes, the headline this morning is that Virginia won the first championship in school history in an overtime classic. But that only scratches the surface of this story. We just witnessed last night one of the most unbelievable and an all-time sports comeback story.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
The Virginia Cavaliers have pulled off a redemption story for the ages, winning the national championship in an overtime thriller. Just 1 year after the humiliation of being the first 1 seed to ever lose in the first round to a 16 seed, the Cavaliers had to outlast a determined Texas Tech to claim the title.
Did you need to go through what you went through last year to get here?
Yeah, absolutely. We said it all year that if you use adversity right, it'll buy you a ticket to a place you couldn't have gone any other way.
The game was a nail-biter.
Well, right now, Texas Tech just cannot score.
Going into overtime. But Virginia eventually sealed an 85-77 victory to become champions for the first time in school history.
It goes from stunned in Charlotte to redeemed in Minneapolis.
The team was haunted by last year's historic tournament loss. Players even received death threats. Kyle Guy, named most outstanding player, has spoken publicly the past year about his mental health struggles.
You guys got death threats. You've been open about going through anxiety. You're standing here as a champion and the most outstanding player of this tournament.
I'm so joyous and happy right now. You know, in this moment in time, absolutely anxiety-free, so I'm just so ecstatic right now.
Last year's loss served as motivation.
It makes this so much more worth it.
And overnight, the city of Charlottesville erupted to celebrate their Cavaliers.
We just stay disciplined. We do the little things and you know, we're built for this. We knew that the will to win wasn't enough. We had to do everything possible to win. We left it all on the court.
And remember, that loss in the tournament last year is no doubt considered one of the most embarrassing upsets in college basketball history. To go through the year they've gone through, having to hear all that ridicule, and to be back in this spot and to win it all is truly unbelievable. And on the other side, of course, Texas Tech, not a lot of people picked them to be in the championship game. And Chris Beard, the coach, was asked about what he said to his players on the court at the end of the game. And guys, in tears, he said, I told them I love them. I told them I want to be there in their lives so that when their kids are born, when they have their weddings, And I also want to be there to tell them not to go into coaching so they don't have to go through the stress of how this feels.
Great advice. But UVA made up for last year's big loss.
They certainly did.
They sure did.
Thank you, TJ.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to move on to Washington now, and that new shakeup at the White House. Less than 24 hours after forcing out the Secretary of Homeland Security, President Trump has pushed out the head of the Secret Service as well. More changes are coming, and our chief White House correspondent John Carl tracking it all. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. It looks like an all-out purge of the leadership ranks of the Department of Homeland Security, with the Secretary gone, the Director of the Secret Service gone, and possibly more on the way out. There's so much uncertainty at the Department of Homeland Security right now that ousted Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen, who had said she was quitting immediately on Sunday, now says she will stick around for a few more days. But she made that announcement at home.
I share the president's goal of securing the border. And other than that, I'm on my way to keep doing what I can for the next few days.
With Nielsen heading out, the president also pushed aside Secret Service Director Randolph Alice with no reason given. The move came as a surprise. Alice hastily writing a letter to agency employees claiming he wasn't fired, but was, quote, told weeks ago by the administration that transitions in leadership should be expected across the Department of Homeland Security. And there are still more firings expected. At least 2 more senior officials at the Department of Homeland Security expected to go in the coming days. This after the departure of FEMA Director Brock Long in February. And the president's surprise announcement Friday that he wanted his choice to head the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency to step aside.
We want to go in a tougher direction.
And while the president is looking to move in a tougher direction on immigration, a federal judge in California has now blocked one of his tougher policies, saying a ruling that the United States can no longer force asylum seekers to wait on the Mexican side of the border while their cases are being heard in the U.S.
And John, when you look across the administration right now, the number of top officials serving without Senate confirmation is stunning.
It really is something. Take a look at this graphic, George. I count at least 10 major positions within the Trump administration that now do not have permanent leadership, with temporary or acting leaders. And there does not seem to be much of a rush to put in permanent replacements. In fact, the president himself has said that he likes having acting heads of agencies. He appears to believe it gives him more flexibility.
Okay, John, thanks. And as John mentioned, the Department of Homeland Security hit hardest by these latest moves. Take a look at this. 10 of the top positions at the department, including the head of disaster assistance, immigration, the border, and Secret Service, all vacant right now. That is drawing a sharp reaction on Capitol Hill. So I want to bring in our senior congressional correspondent, Mary Bruce. Mary, even the president's GOP allies are speaking out on this.
Yeah, George, Republicans are clearly alarmed by this chaos at DHS. We are hearing rare rebukes from several top Republicans, including some of the president's top allies. They are now warning the president not to fire any more top officials and saying the White House needs to be clearer in what it really wants to do on immigration. Senator Chuck Grassley, the senior Senate Republican, is making this personal, warning the White House not to fire the Director of Citizenship and Immigration. And there is clearly no love lost from Chairman Grassley when it comes to Stephen Miller, the White House advisor who's thought to be pushing many of these changes. He was reportedly said, quote, "I think it would be hard for Miller to demonstrate he's accomplished anything for the president," George.
And Mary, you're in that hearing room on Capitol Hill where the Attorney General William Barr is expected to testify today. He's going to get some tough questions on the Mueller report.
Yeah, George, in just a few hours, the Attorney General will be sitting right here, likely facing questions for the first time about the Mueller report. But this may not be the setting that you would expect. This is a hearing on the budget. The Attorney General will be facing questions from 13 members of an appropriations subcommittee. But Democrats, I'm told, are likely to push on the Mueller report. They want to know specifics about how Barr developed that 4-page summary of the Mueller report. The chairwoman, in her opening remarks, will call that, quote, suspicious and question how he developed that. They want to know why he was able to come to the conclusion that there was no obstruction of justice, even though Mueller's report made clear that it did not exonerate the president. But, George, it's not clear how forthcoming Barr is going to be here. He still plans to release a redacted version of the Mueller report sometime soon.
Yeah, it could come within a week. Okay, Mary Bruce, thanks very much. Robin?
And, George, as you know, there are new developments in that security scare at Mar-a-Lago. The Chinese woman accused of lying her way past 2 Secret Service checkpoints is still in custody this morning after appearing in court on Monday. Victor Oquendo is there with the latest. And Victor, investigators made some startling discoveries in her hotel room. Good morning.
That's right, and good morning, Robin. Those details laid out in court are alarming. Yujing Zhang is accused of breaching security here at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. Prosecutors say that when investigators searched her hotel room, they found a device used to detect hidden cameras, 9 thumb drives, 5 SIM cards for cell phones, and more than $8,000 in U.S. and Chinese currency. Zhang was arrested on March 30th after allegedly telling security officials at the private club that she was there to go to the swimming pool. Investigators charged her with lying to Secret Service and entering a restricted space, and claimed they found a thumb drive with malware. A Secret Service agent who testified he tried using that thumb drive says that when he plugged it into his computer, it immediately tried to download into his system and install files. Meanwhile, Zhang's attorney says she made no direct misrepresentation at the club or to Secret Service agents. She's due back in court next week. Robin?
Still so many questions. All right, Victor, thank you. Michael?
Now, Robin, to that wild spring weather. Severe storms hit the southeast overnight. Now, that new storm is taking shape in the west and could turn into a spring blizzard. Ginger's tracking it all this morning.
That's
Good
right.
morning, Ginger.
Oh, Michael, April and blizzard. Those words are certainly coming together for us this week. But we begin with a look at Hyatt, Alabama. This was EF1 tornado damage that they had from yesterday morning. So that blew through. Now we've got more severe storms possible today, during the day. Florence, South Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Wilmington, down to Augusta, Georgia, all in the severe storms forecast area. Let me bring you to the West Coast, though, because this is the storm we are tracking now that has been flooding much of Oregon. They've had mandatory evacuations. They're letting water out of the dams in some of the regions faster than they did in 1996, which was a historic flood event for them. And now that storm is going to make its way through the Rockies. It's going to wrap up quickly. People are starting to talk about bomb cyclone. Remember, that means 24 millibar drop in 24 hours. Even if it doesn't make that level, we're talking about 6 to even 18 inches of snow. And George, that comes with 30 to 55 mile per hour winds.
Whoa, that is going to be some storm. Okay, Ginger, thanks very much. Now to that alarming measles outbreak, 78 new cases diagnosed just last week. The CDC has tracked 465 cases in 19 states so far this year. That's nearly a record. And doctors warn that people with the virus can spread it before they even know they're infected, up to 4 days before the rash appears. Most of those sickened have not been vaccinated. Health officials here in New York now threaten to fine or even close schools if they allow unvaccinated students to attend class. Experts say the MMR vaccine is 97% effective.
Ooh, all right, George. Now to that terror suspect takedown. A 28-year-old arrested accused of plotting a mass murder outside of Washington, and he was caught just in time. He's making his first court appearance today. Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas is in Washington with those details for us. Good morning, Pierre.
Robin, good morning. He's been charged with interstate transport of a stolen vehicle, but authorities say he's admitted to so much more, of having chilling, murderous intentions. My sources say it was the closest of calls where a van was the weapon of choice. The deadly plan, according to federal prosecutors, to use this stolen U-Haul van to commit mass murder. The target, the National Harbor in Maryland, a tourist area with restaurants and a Ferris wheel, a place where families go. Authorities apparently catching the would-be terrorist in the nick of time, hours, perhaps even minutes, before he was set to plow his vehicle through a crowd full of people.
This was not simply a person in a stolen vehicle, but posed a greater threat.
According to the criminal complaint, 28-year-old Rondell Henry from Maryland was inspired by ISIS and apparently modeled his would-be suicide mission after the 2016 Nice, France massacre, in which an attacker used a cargo truck to run over pedestrians, slaughtering 86 people, injuring hundreds more. I was just going to keep driving and driving and driving, Henry allegedly told investigators. I wasn't going to stop. Henry fueled, he told authorities, by hatred for disbelievers. Police caught up with Henry on the grounds of the National Harbor the morning after he had already allegedly scouted the location. The FBI said he'd hidden in a nearby boat overnight after parking the stolen van, apparently waiting for more people. Henry is due in court this afternoon for a detention hearing where authorities will argue that he is an urgent threat and cannot be released. Henry, authorities say, had no escape plan, intending to die while killing others for his cause. George?
Thank goodness they caught him. Okay, Pierre, thanks very much. And overseas, we're learning more about the deadly roadside bombing in Afghanistan that killed 4 Americans. This morning, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo condemning the attack. Our foreign correspondent James Longman has the latest. Good morning, James.
Good morning, George. This was the deadliest attack on American forces in Afghanistan this year. 3 U.S. service members were killed, as well as an American contractor, when a suicide bomber detonated a vehicle packed with explosives. It hit their convoy on a road near Bagram Air Base, which is near Kabul. 3 more U.S. service personnel were injured and have been evacuated for treatment. Now, the Taliban is claiming responsibility, even as they continue talks with the U.S. on a peace deal. Secretary Mike Pompeo overnight was tweeting, "No cowardly act of terror will impede our efforts to achieve peace." This now means 7 American service members have been killed in Afghanistan this year. The administration is keen to bring home as many of the 14,000 or so U.S. troops who are stationed there as soon as possible. But ensuring a political future for a country ravaged by 17 years of war, that takes time. Michael?
All right, thank you so much, Ian. Our thoughts are with those families who are suffering right now. And now, the race to find those kidnappers who held that American woman and her tour guide hostage in Uganda. As she prepares to finally head home, there are questions this morning about whether the kidnappers were paid a ransom, and if so, who paid it. Ian Pannell is in Uganda with the very latest. Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, good morning. That's right, Michael. There is now an intense hunt underway on both sides of this border area, and what they're trying to do is make arrests and make them soon. This morning, the urgent hunt for the kidnappers of American tourist Kimberly Sue Endicott and her guide, now spreading across 2 countries. Kimberly Sue expected to head home to California after her 5-day ordeal in the jungle. She and her driver abducted at gunpoint on safari in Uganda. The police now revealing the kidnappers know they're being hunted down. The search into a second day, not just here in Uganda, but across the border in war-torn Democratic Republic of Congo.
The victim, who had been held captive, together with her safari guide, Jean-Paul Mirenge, were released because, first of all, of the implicit threat of the use of force.
President Trump now weighing in, urging Uganda to find the kidnappers of the American tourist and guide before people will feel safe in going there. Bring them to justice openly and quickly. Endicott's a small business owner in Costa Mesa, California. One of her friends praying for her safe release for the last week. And when she heard the news she was free...
Oh, God, I bursted into tears. I'm still a little bit emotional about it because, you just don't know what... When you hear kidnapping and you hear foreign country, you automatically go to that dark place. You think the worst.
Questions now about a ransom that was paid to get them out. Ugandan and American policy is don't encourage kidnappers. So pressure is now on for police and military to get the 4 men behind bars. President Trump not the only one taking to Twitter. President Museveni of Uganda also going online, trying to reassure tourists that his country is now safe. But I have to say, until arrests are made, then some may not listen to that message. Guys?
Okay, Ian, thanks very much. Also this morning, prosecutors now calling for jail time for Felicity Huffman as she pleads guilty in that college admission scandal. All the details ahead.
And TV host Wendy Williams is trying to set the record straight after recent headlines over this photo.
In our exclusive with the doctor at the center of that viral video on a United flight, he's speaking out for the first time, but we're going to go to Ginger, who's going to remind us of anything but spring.
Anything but yesterday, nearly 80 degrees in New York City. Don't know if you noticed that, but just about 380 miles north of us, this was happening. Yeah, Colebrook, New Hampshire, that is snow flying for them. But again, we have to look at what eventually could become a historic storm. The National Weather Service in Minneapolis saying that now. In southwest Minnesota, parts of North Dakota, we're talking about a foot, even up to 2 feet of April snow coming midweek through the end of the week. Yep, it's happening. Your local weather in 30 seconds. First, though, the Tuesday trivia sponsored by Amazon Echo.
Oh, hey, did you win? Alexa, pause my audiobook. Alexa, what time is it? It's 4:40 a.m. Alexa, turn on the backyard light.
Another warm day. We're back up to 80 degrees, and there'll be plenty of clouds around the area. Lots of humidity, too, so you may be a little uncomfortable if you turn in the AC on. From the 60s to the upper 70s already by noon today, 80 degrees at 4 o'clock. Weather front crosses the area around 7 o'clock this evening, and tomorrow's temperatures, even Thursday, in the mid to upper 60s. We're tracking some storms for your Friday, but not until late, probably after 7 p.m. This weekend, get out Saturday, the high 76 with sunshine.
Just getting started. Grab that second cup of coffee. We'll be right back.
Where does your almond milk come from? Almond Breeze starts here with our almond trees in our Blue Diamond Orchard in California. My parents' job is to look after them.
At Almond Breeze, we only use